Seppi, and together we created the It Takes a Village community. On our show, we talk about how to combine business and parenting using tools from the coaching and psychology world.
Come join our village
Because together we grow stronger.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Thank you for coming.
I love your intro.
Thank you. We love
It's so
it too.
fun.
I know.
I need to lower a bit the volume in my headset.
Okay. So today we're going to talk about self-care and how to take care of ourselves, because we talked about how we feel and how to understand what we feel. We talked about feelings and emotions, and then we talked about why we feel it, because we have our 7 human needs. And today we're going to talk about how to take care of ourselves, and we brought the amazing Karin
Adoni
Ben David.
You know, we were debating on the way here if we should say the Ben David or
Of course
not.
you should.
Yes, definitely. Ben David is important.
Yes.
Yes. So as working mamas, as working females, we know that it's important and why it's important to take care of ourselves. But today we're going to dig deeper with Karin here. Should we?
I want to introduce Karin. Karin is a mom of 2 children. The youngest between the 2 is just
3 months.
a newborn.
3 months, yeah.
Yeah, she's 3 months old, and she's a very successful businesswoman. She's a nutritionist and a health coach, and she will introduce herself in a bit. And we're going to start with a song, and then we'll get to know you better, Karin.
Amazing.
What a song we chose today.
Yeah.
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. All girls all over the world. Original King Julian for the girls, man. I love how all the girls they love to move their body. When you move your body, you know move it nice and sweet and sassy. Alright? Woman, you cute, and you don't need no makeup. Original cute body makeup on model. Woman, you cute, and you don't need no makeup. Original cute body makeup on model. Woman, physically fit, physically fit, physically fit. Woman, physically fit, physically fit, physically fit. Woman, nice, sweet, fantastic. Big body out in the big tight headache. Woman, nice, sweet, energetic. Big body out in the big tight headache. Woman, nice, sweet, fantastic. Big body out in the big tight headache. Woman, nice, sweet, fantastic. Big body out in the big tight headache. Woman, I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. Woman, you cute, and you don't need no makeup. Original cute body makeup on model. Woman, you cute, and you don't need no makeup. Original cute body makeup on model. Eyeliner, on your face and make one mud up. Nose powder, on your face and make one mud up. Like your eyebrow, on your face and make one mud up. Got your lipstick, on your face and make one mud up. Woman, you nice broad face, and your nice hip. Make man flip and bust them lip. Woman, you're nice and energetic. Rich about the ocean at the big tight headache. Woman, a nice broad face, and your nice hip. Make man flip and bust them lip. Woman, you're nice and energetic. Rich about the ocean at the big tight headache. Whoa! Bo, 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 bo.
So we're back.
I love this song.
It's a fun
I
one.
like to move it, move it.
We like to move it.
Yes.
We chose it specifically for this episode with you.
Yeah. And I will start with a complaint.
Yes, go ahead.
A complaint.
Here's the box.
Karin, I hate you and I love you both in the same time.
That's great.
And I'll let you know, guys, why. Because this song today is talking about how we love to move it and move our body. But lately it's been a struggle for me to get back to my workout routines. And I did sign up for Karin and Ben's boot camp, which
started
today, yes. And I had to wake up at 5 a.m. to be at the location we we have decided on, and go on a hike
At 6 a.m.
6 a.m.
Sharp.
And it took 2 hours. And yeah, I hate you.
Okay,
I'm
that's
proud of you.
But you're gonna thank me and love me at the end of the month that you're gonna climb that mountain easily
Definitely.
in less than an hour, and you're gonna feel so accomplished. And let me ask you this: finishing your day at 8 a.m. or even maybe tomorrow earlier, after you already accomplished hike, after probably took care of yourself and had breakfast, had some coffee, don't you feel much better with yourself?
I did. The only problem, as I mentioned before, I went to sleep only at 2 a.m., which is no bueno situation for this situation.
So tonight you're gonna go
But
to sleep
tonight, I
early.
think I'm going to knock dead, and that's it.
And-
So you know what? I think this gets me. Last night when I was trying to sleep, I had some, thoughts running in my head. And one of the thoughts were, when I was a kid, I was very active.
Yeah.
I loved dancing. I was a dancer for many years. I also used to, how do you call it in English? Shot ball? I don't remember. I used to throw this iron ball. I was 4th place in Israel. I jumped. I did a lot of things. And I guess what I'm asking here is, how come, and where along the way we forgot to enjoy it? Like, throughout the years, all of a sudden it becomes a hustle. It becomes like something I hate doing. It's
Moving?
not something, yes, moving, working out, going outside. And I love nature. Like when we were today in the hike, it's a beautiful place. You stop and you
Beautiful.
smell for a second the fresh air, and you see this amazing, incredible view. And you're telling yourself, why do I get so lazy to do it? Like, how come it feels, it's like, for me, it's like a shower, before going to the shower, you're like, okay, should I go? Should I not go?
But the feeling after is worth it.
Definitely. So what do you say to those that kind of lost it? How can we find a way to fall in love with it again, I would say?
So I'll ask you first, where do you feel that you lost it? When? Do you know? What happened? What changed?
I think adulthood.
Adulthood.
I think adulthood, yes, because once you're getting, to the routine of working, somehow it's something that is no longer a priority. You're not supposed to have fun. In the adulthood life, they tell you,
You
get
grow
real,
up.
be serious, like you need to work. And I think I took it too seriously.
Seriously. So I think, first of all, it's a great point, because many people have that tendency, to forget themselves. So we get so caught up in, I want to accomplish, I want to do more. I want to do more as a mom. I want to do more as a wife, as a business owner, as a friend, whatever it is that we have some tendency to forget ourselves. And one of the things that I'm saying is that we have to take good care of ourselves. Self-care, which became more popular in the last year or two, I've been talking about it for years, is so important, because self-care isn't being self-centered. Is making sure that if you want to give to everyone, first of all, you need to give to yourself. And if you don't have things that you can give for yourself, or if you don't keep yourself in a place when you're happy from the inside out, it will all be like, I just need to do a check mark because I need to get it done, And then another thing, as kids, I remember growing up, I think we're around the same age, going out, we would have fun. I also grew up as an athlete. I was a professional basketball player. I also danced. We have a very similar background, and I loved it. And it was fun. I think at some point it stopped being fun and started being like a chore. I need to do it because I want to lose weight. I have to do it for my weight, for my health, versus I need to do it because I love it. I need to do it because it makes me feel good. Because when I start off my morning like that, I feel accomplished. I feel like I've done something for myself. And there's those golden hours, but in the morning, not at nighttime, they have this charm. They have this magic. Because it's like you start off your day when no one still started. You're not missing out on anything. There's no FOMO. There's no fear of missing out. And there's no that tiredness at the end of the day. No, I'm going to wake up tomorrow. I'm going to go for a hike. You actually go and do something for yourself. And it feels so good. I can tell you that because I have a newborn and I don't always sleep. So when I need to wake up super early for my own workouts, I do this motivation conversation with myself every morning if I need to show up for myself, not for work.
How does it sound?
So it's get up, get out of bed, Go make yourself coffee. I know you're tired. I know you had a hard night. I know you're not sleeping enough, but you're going to feel so amazing and so good once you're going to get it. You're going to feel so accomplished. And I just have like 5-7 minutes conversation. And then I ask myself, how will I feel if I won't go? How will I feel if I'll give up on the things that are important for me? Will it make me feel good? Will it make me feel and literally I push myself out of bed and I do those conversations with myself.
Oh my God, I have this incredible idea right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Just imagine if we created our alarm to be this conversation with ourselves.
Exactly.
You can record myself. Tammy, get the F up.
You can do, I'm sure you have apps that you can do that you can have
Alexa.
or Alexa, because you have like, that which is like,
Snooze is my best friend, and
I know.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
So those are the things, and because I feel so good afterwards, then I remind myself, how do I feel after? How do I feel if I don't do it? And that's what pushes me out of bed.
Do we need to fall in love with what we do as far as workout?
Yes and no. I do think that you do need to find someone that if you haven't fallen in love, at least that you like, you don't hate. Okay. It's like if there's a lot of hatred, when it comes to like weight loss or when it comes to like working out, there's a lot of negativity and it's not up to it. However, some things we just need to do, even if it's not our favorite thing in the world. You mentioned that you were a bookkeeper in the past. I would guess that any business owner that is not like, numbers oriented hates to do their taxes or to go over their books or to talk with the accountant on their yearly taxes because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But if you're not going to do it, you can't have a business. It's like,
Definitely.
so it's the same. You don't always need to love it. Sometimes you just need to do it, and sometimes fake it until you make it. That's also,
The
it's
only
okay.
thing about sports is that you can't really delegate it to someone else.
No, that's the only
But
thing.
you-
Also a diet. You can have someone else maybe cook for you,
Yeah.
but you still need to follow.
That could be a really good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think for me, the hardest thing is to maintain a routine of healthy eating. I know it's good for me and I know what I need to eat because I took your 42-day program
I remember.
and it changed my life. Literally. Like really, I learned a lot about what to eat and what makes me feel good.
Great.
And I was able to maintain it for a really long time. And then I sort of just started to go back to my old routine of like, I'll just grab something. I'll just take something. I'm super busy. I'm just chocolate, blah, blah, blah. And then I find myself feeling really bad and tired and achy and like, and I know it's not good. I have the information. And for me, like the idea of having someone else cooking for me healthy meals and have it in the fridge, that could be like a really good idea. So what would you recommend for mommies like me who are super
So first of all,
busy?
there's services like that. First of all, I would say there are services. If you want, I also have chefs that I work in here that do that service. And also there's food companies, deliveries that do that. The good side to it is that you really have an option. The bad side to it is that A, it's more like financially, pricier.
Mhm.
And then B, and also at some point you want something of your own. At some point you get bored of it. At some point you get sick of it. So I think it's great for like super busy weeks, that you're like, you don't have time to cook or whatever. But I truly believe in like time management and efficiency. And that's, and one of the things.
By the way, you rock at doing all of those things.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just imagine 5 a.m. She woke up. We were at the hike at 6 a.m. and then back to the office and then even did live. Now she's here with us. So
Thank
take
you.
my hat off.
Thank you.
If
So
there is a mama out here that says that she cannot do all of those things, then you
Look
have a
at her.
tough life.
thank you. So one of the things that I have to say is truly time management is crucial. And I get better with it. It's like I still have times that I just want to scroll up and down on Facebook and do nothing and go to, Fox News and Ynet and whatever it is, just because I want to look at something that I already read an hour ago. Yeah, but it's just because sometimes we also need sometimes to do nothing, which is important as well. Yeah, we have to say that aloud. Going back into the time management, our habits is who we are. Because many people have the tendency that motivation is what makes people successful. And successful is in any place. It can be successful in eating healthy. It can be being successful in your business. But bottom line, motivation is what gets you going. But it's not going to make you stick to it. And that's exactly what you were talking about. You had high motivation. you got a lot of feedback because you felt good, you looked good, you lost weight. So it gave you the drive to continue. And then something happened, life. It doesn't even matter what, you know, it doesn't need to be something big. And then you get thrown off. And sometimes we need those reminders. We need those help. Sometimes I say to my clients, come for a little booster, do a reminder, come for a weigh-in, listen to a lecture, do another program, do something, because we need that maintenance. Because one of the things is that where it's hard for us, I need someone, like let's say I have on my regular routine, not doing the boot camp, I have usually 6:30 or 7 a.m. workouts. I need to show up to someone. If I need to do it for myself and to go to my home gym, I'm not necessarily going to do it. Exactly. But when I have someone that I need to show up for, I show up. So that's
what works for me as well.
Accountability is super important. And accountability can be a part of a group. It can be accountability buddy. It can be accountability on your own. But definitely accountability helps. And we have sometimes the tendency not to understand how important it is, because we feel like I have the information, I have the knowledge. Great. Do you execute? If you're not, then it's like I want you to get past beyond that bridge from knowing to doing. Just knowing is sometimes even a worse enemy, because it even goes like this. I know what I need to do. I did the program. I have the materials. I know how good I feel. And I still don't do it. Why do I don't do it?
Trash talk. And then exactly. Trash talk.
Negative conversations with ourselves.
Which is the opposite of self-care, because self-care is also about talking good things about myself. And
uplifting ourselves and not like being hard on ourselves. And then the second thing is really the habits. Once you have routine. So I meal prep. Like I love cooking, but I don't always have the time for it, honestly. So
how long ahead?
I do usually Sunday, Wednesdays, and I just do big portions. If I host on Friday, great. If I don't, then whatever, then it gives me another boost. But I usually make in big portions, especially the things that I know that will take me more time, which is the proteins, the chicken, the meat.
I need to come one day to your house
and
to see with you. No, come. Seriously, I feel that meal preps is something that I just don't feel comfortable doing it. I don't know if it's because
you like to eat fresh food. That's why.
It's not only about eating fresh foods, because I don't mind like eating yesterday's food. I don't care. Honestly, I don't care. But I guess I think it's part of the conversation we had this morning, because I want the option to choose that day something different.
You want to be spontaneous.
Yes.
Did it work for you?
I love her.
Well. It's a bummer, because all my life I wanted to be spontaneous.
That's exactly the question I had when I participated in this course of time management, and my only question to the lecturer was, but wait, when do you have time to be spontaneous? If you plan everything ahead, everything is planned, like every meeting, every phone call, even, and then she said, you know what? I leave myself the time to be spontaneous. I just put this in my calendar.
Straight on.
Yeah.
So I have days where I just leave them, like, let's say, open, and I go do something for myself. Let's say this Friday, I work until like 10:30, and then I have like, I'm going to cut my hair and get my hair done, and then I'm going to stay in the city until I need to go pick up my son, and then I can be spontaneous and can go. But even in those times,
it's planned.
It's planned, but it's spontaneous. I can do whatever I want, and it's good enough. I can be spontaneous over the weekend. But the thing is, things with yourself. You have a daughter, you have Reef, and then basically she has a schedule. And kids love schedule, right?
Yes.
You can tell me more about that. Yeah. How important it is for kids to have routine, to have a schedule, because it makes them feel what?
Secure.
Exactly. So it's the same goes to us. We just somehow, it got lost in translation. Oh, I want to be spontaneous. If I want to have a fish today, okay, then have okay, you have a fish in the refrigerator that you want to prep, but you have chicken, have fish. But the majority of the time, you're going to eat whatever is available for you.
When you're super hungry.
And it's just easy.
I think I found the solution to my problems. Karin, you're going to be my best friend from now on.
But you have to know something. I'm all about getting things done.
Me as well. That's the thing. As a business coach, it's all about getting things done. It's about appreciating the way, the process.
100%.
And not focusing on the result as much, because
if you're not going to enjoy the process, you're not going to have the results.
Exactly. And you know what? Here's a second question that I have, because I believe that I'm not the only one experiencing that. Ever since I was a child, even though when I was completely satisfied with food, I was no longer hungry. My grandma, rest in peace, used to keep on feeding me. And I think what it created within myself is that for the longest time, I just don't feel that I'm full.
Yeah.
I don't feel, it's like I'm eating and like it's going somewhere, and did I eat really? Because I don't feel like that I'm full, and then it comes again and it comes again.
Did you also struggle with weight when you were a teenager?
I was always a plus size. The only difference between back then and now that I was a dancer, so I was a lot more active. Then when I joined the military, I was a police officer, and then I sat the entire day. I didn't dance anymore. I didn't move, so it started gradually there. And, then I moved to the US.
And then,
And then. Yes. So I'm not as active as I used to be. And automatically when I stopped dancing, I gained a lot of weight because, my metabolism also changed, but I kept eating the same thing. But again, the most problematic thing for me, now I'm working on it, but like I would love to hear your input on it, because a lot of times I feel that I'm eating, but it's not enough. Also, when I'm choosing good stuff, like after, since I started with you, I've been on a weight loss journey my entire life, changing this perspective of what is my entire life, really, as long as I can remember myself. And I'm getting better and better and better in the psychological way, I would say, even in the decisions I'm making daily. But when you get to this time that you get so frustrated, like, you eat something and you ate a good portion of it, but you don't feel satisfied. You don't feel full. And then what?
Okay. It's a great question, and I'm going to divide it into a few things because it's not as straightforward. So first of all, your grandmother and also our parents and also us as parents, and I do the same, so no one would feel bad about it. We compromise our kids, appetite, satiety, and everything because we reward them with food. We have an emotional eating, experiences since, I don't know, maybe kids stop breastfeeding. You know what? Not even stop breastfeeding, because we also comfort them with breastfeeding, okay? With like everything. So basically, emotional eating starts when we're infants, literally. And then your grandmother, aunts, uncles, they also want to, give you treats with candies or chocolates or food or spoil, and they want a good experience. And for kids, you'll give my kid like a chocolate ice cream, will be the happiest child in the world, and for them it's like, oh, I want to give him something. They don't understand. And I don't believe we can completely change it. However, kids also need boundaries, but that's a different conversation. So A, definitely there was something there. B, we have, if we're talking about a little bit more science, we have fat cells in our body. We're born with a certain amount of fat cells. We develop them, okay, and double the numbers when we're infants and until the end of our teen years. So basically, people that were a little bit more overweight or you're plus size growing up, you have a larger amount of fat cells versus like someone who didn't. Now, those fat cells can shrink and expand. They can be eliminated. So if you have 200,000 fat cells and someone else had 80,000, then you're going to feel a little bit more hungry because your hormones and leptin and ghrelin and fat cells, and I'm going a little bit deeper. I don't want to overwhelm you with that.
I like this conversation.
Yeah, me too.
are a little bit different. Okay. So yes, physically, it's a little bit more of a struggle for you because of your teen life and because how you grew up. And it doesn't matter now genetics. It is what it is. Okay.
That stays the way it is.
It stays the way it is.
It can't change.
It cannot change. You can shrink it. However,
you can't shrink it.
You cannot eliminate.
Oh,
that's it. You can't remove. You can remove if you're going to do a lipo, like fat sequestration. So you can do, but then always your body's want to go back to what it was. Now that cannot be changed. However, leptin and ghrelin, which is the hormones of the hunger and satiety, okay, that have been researched for so many years, and that's also, by the way, for people who are doing gastric bicep that are doing all the surgeries. One of the things they do for the first year, they try to balance their hormone and leptin ghrelin. So that's why it calls the honeymoon phase, because they really help with that and it gives them the boost. And that's why they feel less hungry. After a year, if they haven't changed their habits, they're going to go back to what it was. So We do know now and today there are a few parameters that really helps to regulate those hormones, okay? Because we're all hormonal. That's what it is. It's not even feminine hormones.
Oh,
it's just
yeah, I feel it.
everything. Not even being all of us, especially us as women, we have so many more hormones, my God.
Yeah.
So definitely a few things that we need to make sure. You have to make sure you're eating enough proteins. Sugar and gluten or simple carbs trigger those interruptions with your satiety and hunger levels. They really do it. Like, it's not a myth of to say, I need to get off sugar. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to be sugar-free for the rest of your life, but it does mean that it triggers more stuff to you than other people. Like, actually, for you, it could be harder than someone else who never experienced that. Okay? Mm-hmm. So that's one. So you have to take that under consideration. Another 4 things that have been found on studies to help is eating breakfast. Really, truly makes a big difference. Eating enough proteins, staying active, and having accountability. Those are the 4 things. And then I will say, I'll take it even one step further. If we're looking at blue zone areas, which is the places where people live the most longevity, okay? They have the most life expectancy above 100. Mm-hmm. No medications. Mm-hmm. 5 places in the world, also one of them here in California.
Oh, I heard about that.
So it's Loma Linda in California, it's in Japan, it's in Italy, it's in Greece. And yes, they were all eating healthy, but one of the things that they found, and that's what we talked about before we started this episode, was that they have a routine. They have a routine with friends, not just diet routine, with friends, meeting up people, walking in the morning, meeting up friends, going on like Saturday night dinner, having friends over. They had a routine. The body likes routine. Mm-hmm. If you don't give your body routine, there's no chance you can ever get to some sort of hormonal balance. And then basically, once you don't get there, you're fighting it over and over and over again. And that fight is exhausting because you're fighting harder than Karin and me. You are. But if you're going to actually give your body that sense of hormonal, like physically balance it, then we can work on the mental. But once the physical interferes, it's impossible because the mental get confused with the physical and it becomes impossible. So those are the things. So one of the things that I say, if you keep a routine, so it's not being perfect, it's not never falling off, it's just don't give up. You always need to go back. So in my opinion, routine for you is crucial. It's crucial for everyone, but especially where you struggle.
You know, that's what I love.
Really
For many years, I've known Karin. I have actually worked in an office next to her.
We worked in the same floor.
Same floor. And we used to borrow milk from each other once in a while.
Yeah, I used to come borrow milk, let's be honest. Yeah, I
came. and for the longest time, I was thinking with myself so many times, like, okay, I know how to lose weight. I have done it before. Why do I need it again? And then I signed up with Ben after Karin suggested like this special, program for newbies. And I would say exactly like we as coaches are getting, because everyone knows what to do with their business to get a business going. Everyone knows as a mom what they need to do, but we forget sometimes that there is a different way to look and get perspective on our process.
100%.
And I think what I love the most about you and Ben, which I love Ben, by the way, Ben,
we love
adorable.
you. We love you.
Feel better. And I think the thing I love the most is really this kind of information, because all of a sudden it's not about losing weight. It's not about the end result. It's about understanding really what's going on in my body.
Yeah.
And I think that's what changed with me lately the most. Understanding how my body is working, and also what's not working the way to do.
Or why sometimes it's harder for you when everyone says you can lose weight.
Yeah.
So I say to everyone, I can promise you that if you'll do what I say, you lose weight. I can tell you that 99% of the people of the world, I can help them to lose weight. However, there is bare individuality. There is differences between one another. And we do need to work to look at a person as a comprehensive. Mm-hmm. And it's not just calories in, calories out, and it's not just mental. It's all combined together, and it has to work together. And then sometimes, especially for people that have been struggling with it, because it feels sometimes impossible, once you go a little bit deeper and explain, it makes sense. It's like all of a sudden something clicks.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that for me are very important to also give out in my programs is information. It's like sometimes people say, there's so much. I said, take whatever you can. But what you can really process, it will be a life changer for you, because I truly believe that knowledge is power. Because once you do something without understanding,
Once you use it,
you understand. And going back into the coaches, I think every coach needs a coach.
definitely.
Exactly. We're the first one to say that. And I really love the approach, because I really truly believe that every person is different. And that's what I teach mothers, is that every child is different. Every mother is different. And you know best what's best for you if you have the knowledge.
Yeah.
And that's our job here, to share the knowledge that we have in order for you to make the adjustments in your life, to your family. And I want to go back a little bit to you. You just gave birth recently.
Yes.
And look at you. You look amazing.
Thank you.
And you got back to work like really fast after giving birth. And I think I remember me as a first mom to a newborn having struggles to get up in the morning after I've been awake all night. Reef was waking up every 2 hours to nurse, and I was breastfeeding, and I just didn't have the energy to do anything, basically, not to eat healthy, not to cook. I just felt like my baby is in top priority, and I can't really put myself even in the priority list. I'm not even existing there. And that's for another topic.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you, what would you recommend for mummies who just gave birth or are having this kind of struggles to find the energy because they're so busy giving all of themselves to the kids?
So first of all, I have to say, my first and second were different. I also struggled more in my first, 100%. I wouldn't wake up as early. I would usually sleep well between like 7 and 10 a.m. And then I would wake up and go to the office or whatever. I would work from home. So it took me much more time to adjust. The second one, you a little bit know a little bit where you're heading towards what you're going. And also each baby is completely different. So for me, one of the things that were important for me is that it starts with the pregnancy. I don't go crazy once I'm pregnant. I eat, I indulge, but I don't pig out. That's the honest truth. I still work out as much as I can. Not so intensively, even twice a week, sometimes, and even not at all, because I have low blood pressure while I'm pregnant. So I get dizzy. So I just physically, I can't. So I do what I can. And if I'm not, I don't feel bad for it. But I do eat healthy. I do take care of myself because if we're talking about like health reasons for the fetus and for the baby, it's a game changer. We're talking about the 2,000 first days in a baby's life and an infant life that really they start counting before you got pregnant, during the pregnancy, and until they're 2 years old. So it matters because it really develops their gut bacteria, their brain, immune system. So all of those things really matter. And it's important for me as well for my kids to be healthy. And I also don't want to be super extremely heavy. Pregnancy isn't comfortable.
No.
And I adore all women that love pregnancy. I don't. I love the result. I would do it again. I don't get it. I truly don't. I don't know what's the fun in it. I think the result is worth it. And I think everything we're going through is so worth it. But again, I don't think it's fun. I think it's heavy. I think it's uncomfortable. I think you have hormonal changes. You're nauseated. You have heartburns. Nothing is comfortable. Your feet swell. I don't know what's fun. I'm still looking for that, and then they say, no, in your second trimester, you're going to have that glowing period. And I'm like, glow what? Glow what? Like, what the hell are you talking about? So I definitely keep that, I start off prior because one of the things when I meet women postpartum that gain tremendous amount of weight and completely lost themselves, it's harder because also it pushes you a little bit more into postpartum depression. Okay, those things, and we see that. And postpartum...
You experienced it?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know.
So postpartum depression is also, yes, hormonal changes and everything, but it's also got to do with feeling alone, not feeling like you have anyone to talk to, not having the right support system. And I truly believe that a happy mom is a happy baby. And I think that if we take care of ourselves, it's so much easier for us to do so. And I think is that once we have that, also the energy that we give back to our kids, also the positivity that we have. And you don't have to go back to work. You can stay home for 6 months. It's fine as well. But take that time to bond also with you and the baby, and also with yourself, to stop for a moment and to do the things that makes you happy. Because I remember all of my friends, and I truly make sure I have a friend who now just had a baby. And I noticed that she was like borderline postpartum depression. And I just showed up, I showed up, I went there, I made sure she has like lactation consultant and like a newborn like consultant to explain to her what to do. And I talked to her husband. It's also important that you're going to have a support system, because it's so easy for women to just, I have a baby, I forget about myself, but you'll forget about yourself. And this will be a very vicious cycle. So I think it all goes back to actually remembering ourselves. And you don't have to do it all. I think also putting tons of pressure, like you have to go back into your weight, you have to go back to work, isn't for everyone. It's not. But I do think that it's for everyone to take care of themselves.
Exactly.
And I think that if you're going to willingly want to have another baby, I think you're going to choose a different path, because another thing that it keeps some sort of a trauma with it.
It is.
It does.
And that's one of the reasons, and I'm really honest about it right now, and I'm open. I think it's one of the reasons that I was waiting for so long and still am. Reef is going to be 3 years old in August, in 2 weeks.
Oh, happy birthday.
And everyone's around is like, okay,
what's going on?
Baby number 2, okay. And I'm like, don't even talk to me about it. And I'm a motherhood coach. I know. I love kids. I love children. But when they're not coming from my body, no, I love my kid. But also, you were talking about postpartum depression, and I got all teary.
I saw.
Because it truly is a traumatic experience for me. We just moved here. And 2 months after Reef was born, and I didn't know practically.
So you moved when Reef was 2 months?
No.
2 months before she was born. 7 months pregnant.
At 8 months pregnant.
8 months pregnant.
Yeah. We moved to the US, 8 months pregnant. I didn't have nothing and no one except for my grandmother who is here, and she's an elderly, so I didn't feel that support system you're talking about. And I have a degree in psychology. I know how much it is important to have the support system around you. After she got back to work or started a new job, and I stayed at home. I didn't even have a car. And I found myself all around Reef and her schedule, not doing anything for myself, not even going out of the house. And I think only in the last few months, I allowed myself to say out loud that I had postpartum depression, because it didn't feel like that. I was functioning. Everything was okay. My husband didn't notice. If I'll tell him I had postpartum depression, he was like, you were absolutely fine. But it didn't feel that way.
Sometimes you need to tell them, they don't notice.
Yes. And that's the reason I'm telling this.
It's the first time I'm hearing it also.
Yeah.
It's not something that...
I don't usually tell that, because even for me, I don't really feel like it's 100% true. But now, the more I hear about it, I understand that there are so many faces to postpartum depression and anxiety.
There's like evaluation.
Yes, and I think also that a portion of it stayed until this day. I mean, when I get myself out of the routine, when I don't exercise, and when I don't take care of myself, when I get into this work routine, like really busy at work and forget about myself, some of it comes back. Some of the anxiety, some of the depression. And I think that's what you see, the sort of like, the things that are left from there. So I think that the last thing that we need to take from this conversation about postpartum depression is that you're not alone. And you're not alone. To understand that you can ask for help, you can have help, and you should say what you feel and not cope with it alone, because so many women, like 1/3,
and there's nothing wrong
about postpartum depression.
Nothing wrong. Yeah. It's so overwhelming, all of a sudden. Never mind, first of all, there's a hormonal drop.
Yes.
Like really full-on hormonal drop, and then you have times until your body balances out, especially if you're nursing, because their hormones the level of hormones is very high. You're sleep deprived. You're good food deprived. You are socially deprived. You didn't even have a car. So basically, it's not necessarily postpartum depression full on, but it's definitely something that left trauma in you. But I have to say, first of all, when it comes to your anxiety and routine, I'm not a psychologist, but I think you probably know that dopamine is one of the things that really help anxiety and depression, and that's being released in workouts. Anxiety and postpartum are not my field at all, but that was one of the things that everyone talk about. So I think for you to do that, I can tell you from my experience as a working and as a business owner, for years I had a tendency, also up until like 2-3 years, to like forget about myself. And also after Gabriel, I didn't go back into working out, and I just went back full on to work, and I did and and actually in the middle, when Gabriel was like 5 months old, I got pregnant again. Yeah, unplanned, and it was a miscarriage. I had like an ectopic pregnancy, and I was physically in the worst shape of my life. Mentally, I wasn't devastated. Physically, I was. And then I realized that the reason why I'm taking it so hard, because I wasn't taking care of myself properly. I didn't go back into working out, not necessarily to be strong, but like to take care of myself. I wasn't feeding myself correctly. I was like so drained that I was just like, walking like a zombie. And then I realized that I need to stop, and I made a decision that no matter what, I have to take care of myself. And every time I forget, I pause everything and I say, I need my time. I need my time, and I can be super successful in many things, but if I don't have my time, I'm not going to be happy.
None of this worth it.
And then I was always like this, up and down and up and down and up. And this time I can do picks, but I don't drop.
I think it's very important to mention right now, because as you talked about it, I noticed that most of the things are hormones. The hormones we have in our body.
Yeah.
And, not long ago, I discovered for the first time in many years that I have a lower thyroid function.
Yeah.
And
which is also hormones.
Yes, definitely. So I'm saying, I think this is a call out for each woman that is here and listening. If you're extremely tired, if you have depressions, if you have lack of energy, check your hormones as well. It could be something else, because it's so important to balance those hormones.
It is.
Any recommendation you can say about how to balance them up and what to actually check?
What to check, what to eat, and then if you need, closer look when it comes to hormones, you can go to like a doctor, like an endocrinologist. And if you have anxiety or whatever, you can go to see a therapist, to see a psychologist, which I love. I have lots of love for coaches, and I have lots of love and respect for psychologists, because it's a different field. They take a closer look at the things we're not aware of. You did your first degree in that, so you're definitely aware of that. I do want to go back, Ken, to one thing you said. I think you need to let go of that trauma, because I think that you're different. You're wiser, you're smarter, you're older, and I believe you're going to choose differently.
I believe so too.
And now we have a support group.
Yes.
And you have a support group, and you know what to say. You know what to say if something, you're going to have a car, you have a business, he or she will have a sister, older sister. It's not the same. I have to say one thing. Moving to America the first year, regardless of pregnancy, is like half a depression.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
Relocation are hard. So I have to when I moved to New York. My first year was one of the hardest years in my life. So I think you're also connecting that, but I think also because you were just new, didn't have friends, you didn't have support system, you didn't have the right cycle and circle. And I think today you're in such a different place. I don't see it happening again.
Me too. Honestly, I feel much stronger and wiser, and I have a lot of information in my head, and I have a lot of friends and support system, and I can talk. I don't take everything on myself, and I know how to delegate. So that's a good thing.
Amazing.
So thank you so much, Karin.
Thank you.
The time flies.
Really, I can stay another hour.
Yeah, me too. We love you, and I'm sure it's not the last time.
Yes. Next week,
thank you for having me.
We're not going to be here on Monday. We're still going to figure out what day we're going to host instead. We're going to talk about raising our vibration.
Our energy.
How exciting.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. Karin, love you very much. Thank you for your time. I've learned a lot today. We never really finish learning, and
we never stop learning. We're the constant student. That's always fun.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much.